Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that sounds simple, but, well, it's actually pretty complex, the power of positivity. And just so we're clear, right from the start, this isn't about, ignoring problems or just slapping a fake smile on everything.
Absolutely not. That's a really common misconception.
Right. It's more about facing life, seeing the challenges, acknowledging the tough stuff, but still holding on to hope, still looking for possibilities.
It's about resilience. Seeing the rain, like you said, but believing the rainbow is possible.
Exactly. And we've got some great source material to explore this and our expert guide here to help us unpack it all.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. It's such an important topic. And the research, the stories, they're quite compelling.
Great. So let's just jump right in. The sources really hammer home that a positive mindset isn't just fluff. It actually changes things for us emotionally, in relationships, even physically. Can you walk us through the science behind that?
Sure. So what's fascinating is it's not just a state of mind. It actually changes your brain chemistry. The research we looked at shows positive emotions trigger the release of neurotransmitters.
Like dopamine and serotonin.
Exactly. Dopamine for motivation, pleasure, that sort of thing.
Right.
Serotonin for mood stability. So when these get released, you genuinely feel better, your well-being increases, and interestingly, your cognitive function sharpens too.
Yeah.
You actually think clearer.
So it's a real measurable biological effect.
Absolutely. And it builds over time. So emotionally, this leads to greater resilience. When stress hits, and it always does, right? People with this more positive baseline are just better equipped to handle it.
Right.
They're better problem solvers, less likely to spiral into anxiety or depression.
And what about relationships? The sources touched on that too.
Yeah, think about it. Who do you naturally gravitate towards?
Yeah.
Usually people who seem, positive, optimistic, calm.
Sure.
A positive outlook makes you more approachable, more empathetic, it improves communication. All of that leads to stronger, more fulfilling connections.
Okay, and the physical health connection. That seems almost counterintuitive to some.
Well, think about chronic stress. We know what that does,
Yeah.
right? It's often fueled by negative thinking, that inner critic.
Right.
And that chronic stress suppresses the immune system. It contributes to high blood pressure, heart issues. Positivity does the opposite. It's linked to lower blood pressure, reduced heart disease risk, even remarkably, a longer lifespan.
Wow.
It's essentially creating an internal environment that supports health instead of constantly fighting against negativity.
That really shifts the perspective. It's not just thinking happy thoughts, it's fundamental self-care almost.
Precisely.
But, okay, this brings up the big question we saw everywhere in the material. How do you stay positive without feeling fake? Without ignoring genuine pain or struggles? Because life is hard sometimes.
That's the absolute key distinction. Authentic positivity isn't about pretend it's not wearing a mask.
Right.
It's about acknowledging reality fully, feeling the anger, the sadness, the frustration, but then consciously choosing how you respond. There was this powerful story in one source about a young athlete, Olympic potential, who got a really devastating injury just before the games.
Oh, wow. Terrible timing.
Awful. And the advice wasn't, chin up, be happy. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, and unhelpful.
Totally. The advice was more like, feel this. This is gutting. Let yourself feel the disappointment. But then ask yourself, what can I learn? How can this make me stronger or smarter or more resilient in the long run?
So it's feel it, then frame it.
Kind of. It's what some call radical acceptance. You accept this is the situation right now. You don't fight the reality of it.
Okay.
And accepting it, paradoxically, frees you up. It stops that exhausting battle against what is. And then you have the energy to look for the lesson or the silver lining or just the next constructive step.
So you shift from why me to what now?
Exactly. It's proactive. You're engaging with the difficulty, not denying it.
I really like that framing. Radical acceptance, then proactive choice. So how does this apply in those really, really tough times, like major failure or deep heartbreak, when positivity feels impossible?
Yeah, those are the absolute hardest moments, no question. And positivity looks different then. It's not about cheerfulness. It's about self-compassion, first and foremost, and reframing the narrative you tell yourself. So with failure, instead of seeing it as an endpoint, like I failed, I am a failure.
Which is so easy to do.
So easy. The sources suggest seeing it as feedback, data. Think about any successful person, inventor, entrepreneur, whoever. Their stories are littered with failures. What sets them apart is they learn from it.
Yeah.
You extract the lesson, adjust, and try again. The reframe is, I learned something crucial, not I failed.
Okay, makes sense. And heartbreak, that feels different, more personal.
It is deeply personal. The pain is real, and it needs to be felt grieved.
Yeah.
Positivity here isn't about ignoring the pain. It's about seeing the opportunity within the pain.
Opportunity. That sounds hard to see when you're hurting.
It is hard, but heartbreak forces introspection, right? Self-discovery. You learn about your own strength, your needs. You build a stronger relationship with yourself. So positivity here is acknowledging the loss, trusting you can heal, trusting you can grow from this and eventually find joy again. It's a messy process.
A messy, beautiful process, as one source called it.
Exactly. Holding space for the grief and the possibility of future happiness.
That requires a lot of kindness towards yourself.
Immense kindness.
Okay, shifting gears slightly. Another big challenge. Negative environments. Workplaces, maybe family dynamics, even just the constant bad news. How do we protect our own positive energy?
Ah, yes. Environments are huge. They really impact us. Protecting your energy takes conscious effort. Boundaries are key.
Like limiting exposure.
Exactly. First step, limit exposure. If certain news channels or social media feeds or even certain people consistently drain you, consciously reduce your time with them.
That's selfish, though, cutting people off.
It's not selfish. It's necessary self-preservation. Sometimes you need emotional distance, sometimes physical. You have to protect your own well-being.
Okay, so limit exposure. What else?
Cultivate an inner fortress. Build up your own resilience through positive practices. We can talk about some specific ones in a moment. So when negativity comes your way, you have this internal buffer. The idea is to observe it, don't absorb it.
Observe, don't absorb. I like that.
You choose not to let it dictate your emotional state. And third, active redirection.
What does that look like?
Gently steering conversations away from constant complaining towards solutions or just neutral topics. Or, if needed, simply excusing yourself from the conversation. You control what you allow into your energetic space.
That feels empowering, taking back control. Okay, so for listeners wanting to build this inner fortress, wanting more positivity day to day, what are, say, 3 practical habits they could start today?
Great question. There are 3 that consistently pop up in the sources as really effective. First, daily gratitude practice. Simple but profound.
Just listing things you're thankful for.
Yep. 3 to 5 things, morning or night. Doesn't have to be huge. Your coffee, a comfy bed, a nice text message, the sun, anything.
Okay.
The act of consciously looking for and acknowledging the good literally retrains your brain. It shifts focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. Consistency is the real key here.
Makes sense. Train the brain. What's number 2?
Positive reframing. This goes back to what we discussed, choosing your response. When something challenging happens, you intentionally pause and ask, okay, what's the lesson here? Is there an opportunity hidden in this? How can I view this differently?
So instead of, I messed up.
Okay, that didn't go as planned. What did I learn? What could I do better next time? It's about finding constructive meaning, not pretending the challenge didn't happen.
Got it. Constructive meaning. And the third habit.
Mindful movement. This is huge for mental well-being, not just physical.
Like exercise.
Doesn't have to be intense. A 10-minute walk, stretching, dancing in your living room, a little yoga. Moving your body releases endorphins, burns off stress hormones like cortisol.
Ah, the cortisol.
Exactly. It shifts your energy, physically gets you unstuck from negative thought loops. Even just a few minutes can make a big difference. Make it non-negotiable.
Gratitude, reframing, mindful movement. Simple, powerful. Okay, we actually have a listener message here that touches on a really tough situation. It's from Sarah. She asked, how do I stay positive when nothing in my life is going right? It feels like one bad thing after another, and I'm just so tired. That sense of being buried. So many people feel that.
Oh, Sarah, yeah. That is incredibly tough. That feeling of being completely overwhelmed, just exhausted by everything hitting you at once. It's a heavy, heavy place to be. And Sarah, please know, you're definitely not alone in feeling that. So many people go through periods like that. And the first thing is, the goal isn't suddenly feeling happy or cheerful. That's just not realistic when you're in that state.
Right. It feels invalidating almost.
Exactly. The goal is smaller. It's about finding maybe one tiny spark, one flicker of light.
Okay. So where does she start?
First, allow the feelings. It is okay to be tired, sad, angry, frustrated. Let yourself feel it. Don't fight it. Pushing it down just makes it stronger. Give yourself permission to just be with the difficulty for a bit. That's that radical acceptance again.
Okay. Feel the feelings. Then what?
When you feel even slightly ready, focus on the absolute basics. Simple self-care. Drink some water, eat something, anything nourishing. Take 5 minutes, just 5, to breathe deeply. Maybe find a quiet corner. These basic acts anchor you when everything else feels like chaos.
Create a little pocket of stability.
Exactly. Then look for one tiny win. Microscopic. Did you get out of bed? Did you brush your teeth? Did you reply to one text? Acknowledge that. Celebrate that tiny victory. It's not about ignoring the mountain. It's about recognizing you moved one small stone.
One stone. I like that. And if you can't even find one win,
then focus on the only thing you can control in that moment. Usually it's your breath. Just focus on one inhale, one exhale, or your next step. Literally the next physical step you take, or maybe just the intention. I will try again tomorrow.
Wow.
Sarah, be incredibly kind to yourself right now. What you're going through is hard. Your resilience is there, even if you can't feel it. One breath, one moment, one tiny step at a time.
That's incredibly compassionate and practical advice. Thank you. I'm sure that will mean a lot to Sarah and anyone else feeling that way.
It's important to remember that asking for help is also a sign of strength in those moments.
Absolutely. Well, as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave everyone listening with a final thought, a kind of positivity reflection. We've explored how positivity isn't some vague wishful thinking, but a real tool, rooted in authenticity, resilience, and the choices we make.
Yes, grounded in reality.
So here's the reflection. Think about one person, one task, or even just a quiet moment coming up for you soon. And ask yourself, without any pressure or judgment, what's one small thing I can do right now or very soon to bring just a little bit more light into that situation?
Just a little bit.
It could be anything. A genuine smile, a quick text checking in on someone, taking those 5 deep breaths we talked about, a moment of gratitude. Just one small intentional act.
Because those small things add up. They create ripples.
Exactly. As the sources suggest, often it's those tiny, deliberate actions that spark the biggest shifts. Remember, your inner strength is there, and your capacity for this kind of authentic positivity, well, it's truly limitless.